I want to break barriers. I want to break down the wall of what people think. And I feel like if you're not in the pageant community or you're not interested in pageants, maybe just watch it and see how you go. Because, we, you know, each contestant goes through a level of, of hardship in their life. And, they're basically being involved in this pageant because, they want to do it and they want to, be the next best version of themselves.
The glitz and glam is the fame, but it's the work backstage that makes the game. I'm Crystel and your host. Come with me behind the lens and watch their stories unfold. Our next guest here at Behind the Lens is a Pageant King and National Director for a competition here in Australia. I can't wait to hear more about his role, how he's juggling so many things at once, and to learn more about what's going on behind the scenes for them. Please welcome onto Behind the Lens, Hung Pham. All right, we have here at Behind the Lens, Hung Pham. Welcome.
Oh, hello, Crystel. Nice to finally meet you.
Nice to finally meet you too. Now you're all the way over in Victoria and we're over here in Sydney. So Zoom will have to do, but hopefully we get to meet you in person.
Yes, of course. Hopefully. I really wish that this pandemic is over because I'm stuck I don't want to be stuck in the house anymore. I just want to go out and meet all of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about everything that you've been doing in the industry. I've read your profile and you've done some incredible things.
Oh, thank you.
You're only 25 years old.
Yes, only 25, though I have a baby face, so I don't know if you've heard of that. Yeah.
That's amazing. You're doing so much. You worked behind the scenes in many pageants. You've been a judge on many pageants, and you're also a national director and director of your own pageant as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's all really exciting, and I'm really excited to get into that. But I'm really curious to see how you actually got into the world of pageantry, or why entertainment for you?
Oh yes, of course, absolutely. Well, I think when I was little, I've always had the dream of being on stage and just being your best self. But when you're little, you don't really understand what other people go through and whatnot as well. So I started watching Miss Universe, very typical story. And once you witness Jennifer Hawkins' Miss Universe Australia back in 2004 win and stuff, that's where my mindset was at. I would always tell my mom, I'll get a blanket, I'll wrap it around me, I'll just walk around the house and see how I feel. And then after a certain period of time, so from 2004 up until 2014, when I first started working for Miss Universe Australia, it really gave me an insight into what the girls actually have to do and what the event production crew have to do as well. And then from then on, I just went on and worked with other pageants as well, so Miss Grand, Miss Supra, Australia of course, and I also assisted many girls with their Miss World charity journeys with Variety as well, which is awesome. And then I was like, hold on a minute, I've been doing this for so long, why don't I put myself out there in the spotlight? Why don't I compete? And I've competed in 2 pageants so far. I've won 2 of them, and I've also been appointed to represent Australia on the international stage as well. So it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it definitely is. So in 2016 you got Mr. Diamond Australia.
Yes.
2017 you got Mr. Diamond Australia Ambassador.
Yes.
And in 2020, this year, you are the National Australian Mister.
Yes.
Now I'm guessing when you said the appointed one, that's for 2021, the Mr. Vietnam Global Australia.
Yes, it was supposed to be for this year, but unfortunately, once you win the title, you just want to hold one title. So I was like, you know what? How about I just move it to next year? It shouldn't be a problem. But don't worry, international organization's fine with it. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's amazing. You've got so many things under your belt. How are you doing with juggling everything? So you are representing Australia, but at the same time, you're organizing your own pageant.
I don't even know how I do it, to be honest. That's a question that I can never answer for anyone, because I do work like my day job at the moment, which is doing like e-com and customer service rep for a lovely company that I work at. And then on my spare time, like my spare time is literally my weekends, and I, you know, put my heart and soul out to all the things that I do, like either being a title holder or running my own pageant, which we can discuss that later, of course. But I don't know, maybe it's just my positivity, and like I just hide my negative side, and I just, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe check back with me like a few years. Yeah.
A few years down the road, I'll be like, so do you have an answer to that question yet?
And I'll probably be like, no.
That's completely fine. But the fact that you're still staying on top of everything is really amazing. Now, you were saying that you were really interested in entertainment as a child. You were watching Miss Universe, but what about it did you actually like? Being on stage, what about it do you like and enjoy?
Of course. I think it's basically just putting yourself out there, but then you also get to experience what other people are going through as well. And there are people that will look up to you as a role model, and you have to, you know, play that role as a role model, so that, you know, if you're starting off like nationally and you're going to international, like it's a big jump, and you need to like learn more about yourself. Like, to be honest, when we all have those days where we're like bullied in high school or primary school, and that you don't have friends or anything like that. Like, I was very shy back then, but after a few years, this is me now. I'm so positive, I'm energetic, I love talking to people, I love networking with people, and I also have no filter as well, which I would try to not say anything bad in this interview. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, to say that you're a shy person, I don't know if I would believe that, honestly. How did you overcome that kind of shyness of being like an introvert to being in an industry that's very outgoing, where you're always surrounded by people, you always need to socialize, you need to know how to handle different kinds of people? How did you get to that?
I feel like, you know, back then, like, you know, the one thing that I always remember in high school was that, you know, I was studying at the time, and we were asked to do like a job thing of what you want to do in the future. And I mentioned like I want to be like a model or in that same field, but then like people would like, you know, stop you and be like, are you sure you want to do this? Because that's not what the industry is looking for. Like, for me, I'm a very petite, very skinny person, and like, you know, it's like very stereo. Well, oh no, that doesn't make sense. It's like very stereotypical, as you know, you have to be a certain size, you have to be this, you have to be that. But then, you know, it really didn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do. I basically just pushed them to the side, and I said, you know what, let me do what I want to do. And, you know, once I did it, people were like, oh, he can actually do it. Like, you know, like that, you know, you have that type of feeling. And then, you know, you have your haters and you have your whatnot, like every single time. But that like, for me, this may sound weird, I like to use the hate, and I like to turn it into a positive, so that it motivates me more, rather than just setting a goal and then working up to that goal, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, when it came to like people telling you couldn't do something, how did you keep that mindset of not listening to any of them? Because I know it might sound easy to tell someone, you know, just forget them, ignore them, but how can you really do that? What are the steps that you had to take to get there?
I really don't know what steps I actually take, because I just use their criticism to actually make myself like a more better person. And I, you know, I feel like when you're in the industry, you get so many critiques every single day about, you know, well, on like, why did you win, or, you know, why is he so skinny, or anything like that. But I would just use it as a positive, because it's like, this is who I am. I can't really change who I am as a person. And if I did, it wouldn't be like the real me. So that's how I mainly, you know, moved on. Yeah.
That's good. So you were able to use it as kind of like a motivation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, when it came to finally doing modeling, you also do acting. You've been on commercials as well.
Yeah.
Now, when you got onto that stage of your career, let's say, how did it feel for you to finally know that the things that you wanted to do were becoming into reality, and that that goal was like you could reach that goal?
Yeah. It felt really good, to be honest, because I then would have like all the haters come back to me being like, can you please help me? Can you please help me get into the field? But then at the same time, I'm just like, are you here to stitch me up, or do I really want to assist you at the same time as well? But of course I had to be nice. Like, I if people have a goal that they really want to do, of course I'm going to help them, unless they repay me back with something else. That would be great, but fortunately that didn't happen. But but no, for me, I still have a lot of goals that I want to do as well. Some of them which I can't reveal, but I'll leave hints here and there in this interview. Once I got to that stage, it was such an amazing feeling. Like, I got signed to my first agent. I won the pageant from there on, and then like it just really boosted up my career. And then even though I haven't done like a lot of work in the industry, like in the acting industry, I still get to learn about things. Even if I make an audition, it's fine. Yeah.
That's true. Everything is kind of like a learning curve. Now, when it comes to the modeling and acting, how did you get into having or directing your own pageant?
Oh God, how do I answer this question?
How did that connect to each other from modeling and acting, and then all of a sudden now you are a director, managing many other girls, helping them reach their dreams to be on the stage, express themselves. And also I liked how on the website it says that it prioritizes self-development. About sisterhood, feminism, and just it was really encouraging what I got from what your pageant is all about, and I really love that.
Oh, thank you.
How did you get into creating something like that?
So I think it's basically me working behind the scenes at other pageants, seeing how they run everything as well, and then I came to a part of my life, which is only a few years ago, where I said, okay, if my dream is working for Miss Universe organization in Europe, how about I create something here so that I can actually start the dream off pretty well? So it was a very hard development to do, because I didn't have, for me, I have an events background, so that really assisted. But then who was really going to assist me in creating this pageant? So I just recruited some of my friends. I was like, hey, if you can help me, like, that would be great, and they did. But it took probably about a year to a year and a half to really put the plans together. So we first launched Miss of Australia at the end of 2017, and we've been doing that pageant up until now. And then after that, I was contacted by an international organization where I said, hey, your motto sounds very similar to my motto. Why not like hire me as your Australian national franchise? And they said, yes, we would love to have you as an international director for Australia. And so for the future years, we're going to be rebranding ourselves as Miss Royalty International Australia, but we will still keep Miss of Australia as our branding, because that's what we offer. And we take girls and also men for the very first time through like a very in-depth experience. Like, we want to bring international standard competition down here to Australia, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to be like the very typical like Australian pageant that does this and that. We just want to stand out. We want to be a little bit different, and we just want everyone to have an amazing time. So that's why I created the pageant.
Wow. Now, you said it took about a year and a half to get it together. What were you preparing in that year and a half? Why did it take about a year and a half?
We really for me, I just wanted to be different. So I wanted to see what other people had done so that I can actually put the pageant into place. So normally pageants go for like 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Our one goes for 3 days, soon to be 4 days, and all that as well. I needed to see what would work for the pageant and what would work for the branding that we had done. As you've noted, we're doing self-development, feminism, friendship, empowerment, all that, everything, each of those categories needed to fall under something. No matter if it was, you know, you doing your preliminary interviews, you doing your rehearsals, or you going out and spreading, you know, something to the community, or just doing a tour of Melbourne, for example. Everything just needed to make sense before we could actually launch the pageant and be like, this is the pageant, this is what we're doing. Now we're gonna fingers crossed to see if there's any contestants that would like to be involved. And so far, it's been a success for 2018 and 2019 so far. Yeah.
That's amazing. So when was the first competition, 2017 or 2018?
2018. And we launched it out with a bang. We were like, we had so many people that wanted to assist, and it was very full on in the first year actually. I really didn't have enough staff members working on that time. I think on the final night, it was just me running the entire event while I was hosting at the same time, which is crazy. But you know, it's something that I'm passionate about, and I'm so glad to share it with not just Australia but also America as well, which is interesting. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. I liked how you just said that you, on that first finals event, you were kind of like doing everything on your own. And we were chatting a little earlier. You were like, if you were to ask me what I'm doing, you'd say everything.
Yes, everything.
Now, let's talk about what everything actually involves. What else do you actually do aside from modeling, acting, and the surface level of being a director? What else is involved?
Okay. Oh, I might have to repeat everything again so that it makes sense in my head.
That's okay.
Yeah. So Monday to Fridays, I work as an e-commerce assistant as well as a customer service rep. So I deal with customers day in and day out for Mocha Australia, which is a handbag and accessories company. So that's one of my first jobs that I do. And then, you know, I still have my modeling side, acting side, reality television side. That's a hint for all those who want to know what the next project is and all that as well. And then, you know, I also have to deal with pageantry. Like, you know, our pageant's been postponed till next year due to coronavirus and all that as well. So, you know, now we have more time to really plan out what we want the world to see. And then I just hang out with my families and my friends, to be honest. But I don't really have time for them much of the day. But I just try and put everything together, and I see what works for me and what doesn't. Even if, you know, I don't see my friends often, but if I do talk to them, that's great. But I sometimes, like for me, I'm a bit of a workaholic. I like to put work first, then family, then friends. So yeah.
I guess that explains how you're able to juggle so many things at once.
Yeah.
So when it came to creating your pageant, you were working with multiple people. You had your first event successfully with many girls who were doing it. How did it feel for you when you were planning, you know, the self-development side, when you finally saw these contestants in real life and you were actually doing the program that you had planned with your team? How did it feel for it to come to life for that?
It felt pretty amazing, to be honest, because, you know, all your hard work now is like, you know, presented to you in real life. And, you know, even though the first pageant was like a trial and error for us, and we've made a lot of changes over the 2 years that we have ran it, like, you know, at the end of the day with pageantry and with what we've done, like, I'm just happy to see how it turns out, because, you know, I have ideas in my head, like, you know, like I'm literally planning out for 2022 already, even though 2021 hasn't happened yet and all that. So, you know, I just like to see things come together. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. But we, you know, we love to see what our contestants do, what feedback they give us, and then we can always make the program more exciting. But the self-development part is definitely something that is very interesting in the pageant, because sometimes people start off pageantry like, you know, they can be a professional already, or sometimes they're like a beginner. But I always like to tell everyone that success is not measured by whenever or not you have the crown or not. It's your motivation and your determination that carries you through the competition.
That's really true. Now, I liked how you were mentioning about the self-development and how that was probably the most interesting part of your pageant. Talk a little bit more about it. What are you involving in self-development? What are you prioritizing when you're teaching these contestants?
I think self-development is extremely important because you get to see people progress through their journey through pageantry. And as I said, once they start off, they could be, a beginner mode, or, they could be a professional at that time. But for us, for our pageant, we like to see everyone grow. Growing means, if you haven't done it before, we want to see if you're going to be a rising star or not throughout the pageant. We want to see all the hard work that you've done, even if it's for, your community, for Australia, for those around you. We really want to see that. But we also take them through like a mentorship program as well with our royal court, who are the ones that have been in their shoes before. And, they are provided that opportunity to learn from the best, even if it's from our royal court or from our coaches or even from me, because I'm a title holder myself. Like, they get to learn all that as well. But, we really need to see them, develop their skills. And, if there's something that they want to work with, for example, if they wanted to go internationally in the next year or so, we will assist them to get there as well. And there are so many of our girls who have competed in Miss of Australia and then got picked up by an international organization, or we felt like, we want to offer them an international representation. So from there, we just surprise them out of the blue. So it really depends on what they want to do with their journey, and if their journey has a goal at the end of the rainbow, for example, then that's what we're going to offer to them. So for us, we, competing in the national pageant is not the last thing that we will see of you. We will definitely assist you into getting to where you want to be at that time.
Wow, that's really cool and amazing, because I like how you're considerate of what the other girls want to achieve. So if they want to compete, or let's say just want to try out, and then all of a sudden an international director, let's say, would like to offer them to be a representative, you're going to bring them and train them and kind of mold them into, like, you were mentioning before, like a professional, an actual person who is able to compete and represent themselves and everyone else with pride. Now, when it comes to, let's say, the actual competition, the 4-day competition, what are you doing in those 4 days? What are the contestants actually doing?
Oh, of course. So on the first day, the girls are always nervous about meeting each other and also meeting us. So we like to give them a way of getting to know us, but more on a more basic level and all that as well. So they go through registration, they go through an icebreaker challenge where we play a variety of fun games with them, and we ask them to also come up to us and be like, what's the one thing that you love about yourself, or what's the one thing that you wish to change about yourself, just to see where their headspace is at. They also go through a mentorship program with all of our guest speakers who range from professionals to beginners, just to give them an even playing field of how to be motivated with each other and all that as well. And then we also do sash ceremonies, photo shoots, rehearsals, and so much more on the first day. Depending on the pageant and depending on Melbourne itself, because it is quite cold, sometimes we will give them a tour of Melbourne as well, and that just makes everything more fun. So in the past, like, they went shopping at Docklands, they went to Kingpin and had fun with the lovely division, all that as well. We just want to create fun for the pageant. Day 2 comes, and day 2 is a little bit more important, all that as well. In the future years, we're going to be offering preliminary competitions, national costume competitions, and all that as well. Not only for the friends and family to see, but for all those pageant fanatics. But for now, they either go through a pajama party and a runway competition that we create for them, or we give them another program that we are introducing to the pageant, which is our powerful impression workshop, where they get to learn more about themselves with amazing speakers that we've recruited all the way from Tasmania, which is extremely exciting as well. And then after that, they do go through their rehearsals, all the generic things as well. And then come day 3, they will all be professionals and they will compete on stage, and we get to see who becomes the next Miss of Australia or Mr. of Australia, for example. So yeah, that's what they go through.
That's amazing. That's actually so many things compacted into a few days. And that's a lot to actually, absorb a lot of information, and also to be able to socialize with people who they might not even know just yet is pretty amazing as well. It develops their socializing skills aside from discovering their confidence from inside, discovering the confidence to be able to express themselves as well. That's all really amazing. Now, you were also talking about having mentors. Are they part of your team as well?
So mentors, some of them are part of my team. Some of them are just other pageant queens or kings that we have recruited. And those mentors are probably the best thing that any contestant can have, because when I was competing at other pageants when I first started, like, I didn't have that opportunity, and this is what we want to include in what the contestants receive, and it really helps them so much. Even if the mentors are their coaches and they assist them with wardrobe choices, walking styles, creating that signature walk that you always want, like the lava walk that Miss Universe Philippines Katrina Gray did, and all that as well. So whatever the mentors can do, that's what we want to offer to everyone.
That's really cool. So not just meeting people from their age, but also people who are beyond their circle, beyond their age group. And I feel like when you're expanding your circle that way, you're able to learn much more.
That's correct.
You never really know what your mentor has gone through or has experienced. It's like they're passing on the lessons that they've learned to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about the contestants, and what do you think are some of the challenges they would experience throughout the 3-day competition?
I think one of the biggest challenges definitely within themselves. If they're not as comfortable or not as confident than what they seem to be when we first met them, it could be a challenge for them already. Or maybe they're thinking that, here are my competitors, I need to beat them somehow, but that's not what we're about. We want all of our contestants to make friends. We really want all of our contestants to enjoy what they are going through in the pageant. And I think it really depends on where the contestants sit at the moment. If they may, like, one of their challenges may be, okay, I have this amazing outfit, but I don't know how to walk in it, or I've never worn heels before, or I'm not confident in public speaking. Those are all the challenges that they could be facing. And for us, as I said, self-development is one of the biggest reasons that they are in this pageant for, and all that as well. So I feel like, yeah, it really depends on where you are in your life. Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of everyone that is involved.
That's true. It just depends on how confident they are already, and also how open-minded I feel like they would be to learn new skills, or to be able to socialize and accept other people into their circle and compete with them.
Yes, absolutely. And we're looking for the full package. We're looking for a princess or a teen or a miss or Ms. or Mr. who steps into the room and can enlighten everyone in the room. It's like saying that Beyonce walks into a room and bam, she has that wow factor. That's what we're looking for in each of our contestants. And if we can see a little light or shine in your eye, then we kind of know that you could be the one for the organization.
That's true. As cheesy as it sounds, sometimes it's just, you can never really explain it. Sometimes people won't really understand, but I get where you're coming from. Now, how about you as the director? What are some of the challenges that you experience in managing such a big event and in also taking care of so many people? What are some of the challenges that you've experienced, and how have you overcome it?
I think one of the biggest challenges so far is definitely the coronavirus. It hasn't really helped anyone, unfortunately. But some of the challenges are, well, I'm always stressed and worried about not getting the numbers for the pageant, because without the numbers, we can't exactly run the event to a success. And this really depends on like how many people are in which division. But then I think like just putting the event together with whatever I have in my head, it may come out okay or it may not come out okay at all. And there's so many different things that, you know, I have to work on every single year. You know, I have so many plans in my head. I really wish that this was a 5-day event. I really wish that we were able to give them, you know, more time, more days off, or more rehearsal time, or more time for us to do more activities for them, and to tailor the pageant around all the divisions, because we have girls starting from 6, I believe, all the way up until past 45, and all that as well. So we really wanted to tailor it to each age division, because someone who's in the princess division, I don't think they want to learn things that are in the adult division, for example. So we really needed to make that fit. So I feel like my challenges are definitely logistics, operations, and managing the event, and also dealing with different age groups as well, because, you know, at the moment, I'm only 25, I'm still learning things, and, you know, I still have so much to learn. So, you know, I'm teaching all of them something, and they're also teaching me something as well. So it's like a win-win situation, 50-50 situation. Yeah.
That's true. How do you kind of overcome that barrier in your head where you're like, you know, you're managing people who could be older than you, and you're also managing people who are way younger than you, that are still in that perfect age group where they're still blossoming and just really curious about everything? How are you managing different kinds of people at once?
I like to know them all personally, one by one, throughout their pageant journey. No matter if it's just knowing their parents, I you know, it really gives me an insight of like who they are as a person. And then I feel like from the time that that myself and my team sees them, like we know exactly who they are, and we know exactly, you know, how comfortable they are in their position at the moment. But for us, we're all like a family. We're all very close to each other. I never forget anyone that's been competing in the event at all. They're all still like family.
That's true. Now, let's talk a little bit about the stereotypes of pageants and how sometimes people think that it's not very friendly. But especially when it comes to like a pageant like yours, you're prioritizing friendships. You're prioritizing being able to build relationships and being able to build yourself instead of knocking yourself down or knocking other people down.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about why you find value in getting to know the people who are competing in your pageant.
I think because I've been through like a lot in the past, as well as with the journey that I have created for myself. Like, you know, I always have to value each and every single person, like my brother or my sister, for example. And, you know, I really just want to showcase to Australia that, you know, even though you could be skinny, or you could be, you know, someone who's beautiful and all that as well, please don't take that away from, you know, from what each and every one of us goes through. You know, I want to break barriers. I want to break down the wall of what people think. And I feel like if you're not in the pageant community, or you're not interested in pageants, maybe just watch it and see how you go. Because, you know, each contestant goes through a level of, you know, of hardship in their life. And, you know, they're basically being involved in this pageant because, you know, they want to do it, and they want to, you know, be the next best version of themselves. That's how I'm going to answer it. Yeah.
Do you feel like that when you're getting to know more of these girls, women, men, teens, everyone who's involved in this competition, do you feel like you're able to help them in that journey to reaching a better version of themselves?
Of course, absolutely. I have to be a role model for each and every one of them, no matter if they're in the most youngest division. Like, they have big dreams for when they get older. They can be a dancer, they can be a singer, for example. And of course, with my connections, I can assist them in getting there. Even if with adults as well, where they really want to step onto that international stage, and they want to represent Australia because that's what they're passionate about. Like, you know, I will get them there no matter what happens. Yeah.
That's incredible. That ambition and that persistence is amazing. From a young age, he's always been interested in the entertainment industry. He's loved watching Miss Universe, and from there, he's wanted to compete in a pageant himself. And from there, he's earned his own titles. And after that, he's decided to build his own pageant, his own empire, to be able to create a new system here in Australia that prioritizes personal development, that really nurtures confidence and being able to find your own passion and dreams and thriving off that. I also loved how he talked about the challenges that he's experienced and how he used those lessons to become a role model, to become a better mentor for everyone that he's bringing along in his journey. I really hope that you guys learned a lot from Hung today. I definitely did, especially hearing from someone who is a workaholic himself. I've learned a lot from his work ethic, and I really can't wait to implement that on myself, and I'm sure you guys will too. Remember that this is Behind the Lens. The glitz and glam is the fame, but it's the work backstage that makes the game. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you guys next time.